live stream. Join the live stream. Set one snack. Hmm.
Incoming transmission.
To be an opportunity to.
この船はお前のものではない。立ち入りは禁じられておる。
I am afraid you are forbidden from boarding without permission.
My own ship.
If there is something you need,
Well, there is, yes. My pistols and my men. Keep asking to see them.
your men were brought to Toranaga-sama's city of Edo for their safety. As for your guns, we can fetch them if it becomes necessary.
Now look here, Mariko. Your lord and I had an arrangement. That ship and its crew now belong to me.
You're quite mistaken. Your ship and crew now belong to Toranaga-sama. And he will use them as he wishes.
Well, thank you for the clarification.
Counterattack over at the fourth base for Terran. Like, oh, is this how you're supposed to play Protoss? Is it not supposed to be cheesy or kind of hinged on timings or anything like that? But, you know, now, especially in the last couple years, it's mostly been aggro Protosses and control Protosses that, you know, produce more results.
Yeah, it really feels like it's almost exclusively been Hero in the offline cups and Max Packs and the online cups that have been delivering good results for Protoss. And generally it's with pretty low-tech, high-aggressive play. But stats here proving in GSL Season 1 of 2024 that you can hang with the best. And Classic even kind of played the similar style, if you recall. They're really fast Stargates, really fast Mothership, very macro-oriented play in PvZ and also in other matchups. I feel like whenever Protoss has a... Oh my goodness,
Dude,
Tasteless!
That is sick. Yeah, and now the blink aways. The drones are going to come in here. They're not going to be enough. Stats is going to 2-0 Dark in a crazy upset here in Group C of the round of 16.
I said it in GSL Season 1. I'll say it again here in Season 2. Stats is back, baby. He is looking so good. Dark all the way down to 45 drones. Maybe with control he can win this, but I don't know, man. That is so many Stalkers. I feel like we're about to see Dark tap out.
Yeah, no, there's no way to stop this. GG! See, into game. First, he's the is to change these against Dark test. So if you gain some confidence, stats gonna be for just trying to throw stats off when you have these translate into a world. And Gateway Army. I still think the 4 gate for like clean this up. That Yeah.
And a Rogue fresh out of military service. It seems like a recipe for some pretty short games.
It could be. It could be. I would be very open to a long, drawn-out ZVZ, kind of a macro style, but I feel like there's a little bit cheap humans and primitive Zergs.
That would be fun, actually. I wouldn't mind
Zerg
that,
even had
man.
creep.
That could be a lot of fun.
So they're both going to take that base inside of their base. I actually kind of forgot this was map 1 when we started because...
That's a funky one.
Yeah, I was kind of ready for there to be a more standard map, or I don't know, like Site Delta or something to have these guys duke it out on.
Yeah, I don't really know how this is going to look in a ZVZ.
I feel like it's going to be very roachy if you have a gold base.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's also going to come down to whether you can take the follow-up gold base center,
But
center of the map.
Funny maps where you get a gold base early on, it's kind of weird.
Gold base center.
It's a mere
Center of the map.
Funny maps where you get a gold base early on, it's kind of weird when it's a mirror matchup. Like in non-mirror matchups, I think it's subtly the gold bases can define the game very quickly, but here it's like, well, I guess you're both going to have more minerals. And in my mind, that late goes to roaches, but maybe it's like you just use those minerals to take another base somewhere else. I don't know.
I think you're right. This is, if I were to take a guess in this best of 3 series, here on Post Youth, probably going to be the longest of the bunch, I would imagine. Just because of the architecture of the main base and how many minerals you're going to have here in the early game. Of course, only 6 patches, so eventually these guys will need to expand to his third base relatively quickly. In fact, Dark already throwing his down now. Meanwhile, Rogue and his main base going up into a lair. Same timing here as Dark, but also a very fast second gas. I like this, by the way. 2 queens here just being able to hunker down and hold the main base ramp. But it will be the 2-hatch Rogue against the 3-hatch Dark in a moment. So the way this is lining up, Rogue eventually should be the one that has to get something done. Let's start with an evolution chamber here at the natural ramp. The main base ramp, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Both players going up to 4 gas at almost exactly the same timing. I guess it does make sense because you will be fully saturated on minerals at this stage in the game with only 6 patches of the natural, but it is funny to see Rogue just on 2-hatch and Dark going up to 3. And a Spire here for Dark. Spire on both sides. I kind of feel like this has to favor Dark, right?
Well, right now, Rogue is cranking out a lot of lings. He has not stopped. We're up to 18, 20. Now, how is this going to work?
He's not even going up to full mineral saturation.
So
in fact,
he just wants to basically, like, start to really hit him hard with this rush and then hit him with mutas right after that. That's all I gather from what I'm seeing.
I think that is all the game plan is, Dave.
Yeah,
so I think you hit the nail on the head. As the ling speed now done and all these lings out on the map means that 26 lings can be flooding in. And actually, Dark taking this third base might backfire. He's going to have to wall in his main base because Rogue has cut drones very heavily here to start things out. And I don't even think this third base hatchery is going to be worth it when all is said and done. That's a lot of minerals and a drone down the drain. 3 evolution chambers going to have to be built here at the ramps to actually wall Dark in. I think you don't even cancel them. I think you let them build, and then eventually, if you want to re-expand, you just mine the minerals out on the other side. Here is Dark.
But I mean, how good is this for Rogue? I feel like, okay, you stop the hatchery, but you also don't have a hatchery of your own. You're both going mutas. Air weapons is coming here for Rogue.
I still feel like this is maybe just a little bit better for Rogue, but it's very even despite that third base going down.
Yeah, well, there's more drones right now for Dark too.
This is so hard to call.
I've never quite casted a ZVZ like this. I'm sort of not sure what to make of it. He will see the Spire.
That's mirrored builds.
Yeah.
You will also see the drone count here at the natural expansion is just those six drones doubled up on the gold patches. So if this plays 2-hatch versus 2-hatch for an extended period of time, if Dark isn't actually able to stabilize and hold on to this third base, this could favor Rogue in the long game just because he got more damage done in terms of actually killing stuff. And he's going to mine out slower than natural expansion too. But I wonder if that is the way it's going to go. It's hard to tell. With the defender's advantage in mutos, I feel like Dark should eventually be able to stabilize and take this third base, right? I don't think Rogue can actually deny it.
Rogue might have a timing with his +1 attack when that finishes, but other than that, I'm not really sure. Oh, Dark has +1. We saw it for a second. I think it's a little bit behind.
It is a touch behind.
Yeah. it's kind of a funny game.
I don't think Rogue is even going to try and take a third anytime soon. I think he's just going to sit on this almost.
I think he wants to try to end the game. Coming up here. I think he basically wants to hit with the Muta air upgrade, have the Lings kind of be overwhelmingly strong. He should be able to win both the air and the ground fight.
Yeah, he should on paper, but with the reinforcements coming in a little bit faster here for Dark, I wonder if that is going to be the way it plays out. We only have 3 queens on both sides, by the way, so transfuse is not going to be too many of them, as 2 of those queens have to just constantly be charging the hatcheries up with injects. The other one going to be spreading a little bit of creep, so maybe 1 or 2 transfuses at most, I would think, here for Dark on the defense. And here comes Rogue. He's ready to attack. He is double the Lings, by the way, 58 to 26. Some quick mats for you is actually the Mutas coming in. Nice connections here to start things out, and I love the focus fire on the Mutas here from Rogue. Some really nice engagements, and even the Lings getting on top of the queens at the ramp. This might just be the better engagement here for Rogue. Look at the army supply tasteless.
I mean, it's kind of insane. The Mutas are continuing to take this fight. The Lings are now going to spill over on top of the queens.
The micro here for Dark has been so good at the top of the ramp, though. Those Mutas just pairing up. The Lings are going to be able to flood in, but the Muta micro was better here for Dark. How many drones are going to go down? That's just it. Rogue tapping out.
It's an odd game.
Yeah, a very peculiar match. I thought that at the beginning, Rogue just had the better engagement. The micro seemed a little bit better in terms of focus firing down.
Yeah.
The Mutas to start things out, but when all is said and done and the dust settles.
It's just a very weird game. I don't think I've ever quite casted a game like that.
That was bizarre, and I'm also surprised that Rogue focused so much on just going into the main base there. I would have thought that he would instead pivot to the third base and just denying that hatchery, because I feel like in a 2-base versus 2-base situation, Rogue probably wins, but that was such a peculiar and high-level ZVZ that I really don't know how to break it down, if that makes sense. I mean, it was just a really odd game that I feel you could only really see on post-youth of all maps.
Yeah, it's like we saw that game and we're probably not going to have that map again, and that's it.
Yeah.
It was weird, and I guess we're not going to be exploring it further.
I like the idea of Rogue there, a little bit out of the box. Just 6 drones to the natural, only on the gold base, is going for 2 hatch Muta play.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to go to Golden Aura here for map number 2. Let's get this going. Rogue vs. Dark, continuing on.
Rogue, the blue Zerg down in the bottom right, Dark, the red Zerg in the top left. And just to go back to that previous game, I wish we could, just for the sake of my curiosity, I wish we could like go back and resume from replay for that final engagement and have Rogue just focus on the third base and just shut that down with a superior lane count and play the game from there, because I don't think he had to commit quite so hard.
Everyone,
trying to break down the main.
Should be proud of themselves. This is a very good and very supportive message here.
Yeah, this audience in general has been really cool.
We should actually give all the players trophies. This is what we should do.
Taser just walks down on the main stage like Obi Winfrey.
Yeah.
There's a trophy hidden under everybody's seat.
I get to win a GSL like everybody else.
Everybody also watching online, guys, you just give us your addresses. We promise we won't.
We'll make you a trophy.
We promise we won't leak it online.
You can have 1 more code S's than Maru if you want.
But this audience has been so supportive in general. I feel like this is a
great audience tonight.
I feel like this is the first audience that I've seen in a while where after it feels like almost every single match, like you guys don't get to see it because we go to break, but all the audience members clap for the players.
Yeah,
and it's actually quite
kind of nice.
It's quite nice. Yeah, it's beautiful, especially with Rogue coming back from military service, man.
I
want the audience to kind of light a fire under him, you know? It's so cool to have him back. Just good vibes here, tastes the GSL.
Yeah, it feels good, man. It feels nice. Some great games tonight as well.
I feel like every series is delivered at least some regard too.
Yeah, I'm curious about this next game because like I can't really make heads or tail, excuse me, of Rogue's play back there.
Yeah, post-youth is probably the worst possible map to determine where Rogue is at in CBC.
I do feel like looking back at the game, it might have been better if he just sent all of his Lings and tried to go up into the main instead of killing the third.
But I don't think you can really. Yeah, I don't know.
There's Evo chambers there, so like I don't know.
It's hard.
It's
just very hard
to say. Mirror matchup to go for that.
I mean, it's the kind of situation where us two as casters who probably aren't playing much
we don't play Zerg
or watching people play on post-youth even in a tournament setting, because it just gets vetoed in like basically every series.
Yeah, well, this is a funny thing because, you know, when you cast a tournament, there's a lot of maps you just get really used to seeing, and you start to know like the back of your hand. And then there's like those maps that everybody vetoes, and when you're on there, you're like, oh, okay, wait a minute. It's gonna be my first time casting this matchup on this map.
Even Golden Aura is one of these maps that in the previous patch I felt like we saw quite often, and so although we're not seeing it quite as much here in Season 2 of GSL or in the later part of Season 1 of GSL, previously, we all just kind of have a really good read on where this map is. Plus, it's a map that you see a lot in international tournaments, you see a lot in ladder. Like, it's one of the most played maps to this date in the last couple of months, but something like Post-Youth is just so out of the box. So I do wonder how this game's going to go. As it is right now, almost completely mirrored in terms of unit setups there. Bailing Nest also, very similar timings. Metabolic Boost, Zergling Speed going to finish at almost the exact same moment here, as both players are just kind of doing the same thing. And Macro ZBZ building up to 3 bases. Nothing too crazy to start things out. Rogue going to be throwing the Roach Warren down here at the natural expansion, going for a nice queen-size wall at his ramp. And looking at the mini-map, it seems like Dark is doing the same thing on his side of the map. Nice pick-off there with a couple of links, getting that creep tumor. Usually, queen energy, very precious at the early game in ZBZ, especially in a situation like this where Rogue is only playing with 2 queens. His 3rd queen is only just now coming out. So 25 energy might not seem like a lot, but trust me, to these guys in the box, it does feel like a lot on stage.
So it's going to be 3 bases on both sides. We don't see a big plume of Lings coming up yet. Because, you know, you're always going to get the Roach Warren, you're always going to have like a Baneling's Nest, but that doesn't mean it is for an attack. You can have that just so that you have the tools to defend your base. We now have Roaches being made here for Rogue. I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen here with Dark.
I feel like we're just not going to see that plume of Lings until it comes to reinforce a huge flood of Roaches across
after the
map.
Roaches have been made.
Yeah, they're just the unit that you reinforce with the Zord because they train so quickly and they move so quickly across the map that usually they converge with the attacking army.
You basically make them to tank, and then the Roaches stay in the back and keep doing damage.
Evolution Chamber now getting thrown down for Dark as well as a lair. Rogue still sitting on Hatch Tech, 41 drones, pumping Roaches. I wonder if he is going to just hunker down. I've been saying hunker down too much today. I wonder if he's just going to commit to this early push because there isn't really a lot of tech coming his way so far and only 40 drones. Another gas coming in here for Rogue. Keep in mind, still no lair, still no upgrades. Dark is starting +1 range weapons. And Ling's now in production here for Rogue. He might just start pushing it. I think this is going to be a timing attack from Rogue.
It's going to be go time here for Rogue. So the question is now, you know, can Dark actually hold this?
5 more drones in production for Dark, by the way.
There are overlords everywhere to see this. As far as I can tell, there's no angle to come at where you're going to surprise him with the attack. Even the Queens driving the overlords out could be enough to, you know, oh, excuse me, that's actually Dark driving Rogue's overlords. I switched the races for a second, but, you know, even attacking that could be something that would tell you that, you know, there's an attack coming. So here he comes. He's moving out now.
It's time to go.
And Dark should see this.
Yeah, Dark knows. Spiraling Crawler's getting thrown down, but did Dark play this a little bit too greedy? He was going for double gas, already on 55 drones. Lair Tech coming in, +1 range weapon, should not finish in time for it to really matter.
A lot of Banes here, but he could plug up the entrance entirely with Roaches, which would make the Banelings a lot less effective. The Spines are going to finish here, but it seems like the soft spot's actually up where the Roach Warren and the Banelings Nest are.
Yeah, I think that's what you hit here as Rogue. You try and take down that production as now the engagement comes through. Banelings in and try and find the connections. Not really getting the best things to start off here for Rogue as he's going to slowly inch forward. Actually, the Ling's not really able to connect in the front line as Rogue finally gives way for them. That Baneling connection going to be pretty good there in the front, getting a lot of splash damage on these Roaches. Standing army supply is better for Rogue right now, but the Spine Crawlers might just be enough, Tasteless.
I mean, I think he just holds. I think that Dark just knows exactly, you know, how much to make, even with Rogue going around and hitting it at a different angle. I mean, this is it, GG. Dark with an easy peasy 2-0. We were right, State. Short and sweet.
Yeah, and those were some nice games played there by Dark. Just seems
Stats Dark.
we gon' speed it up. We the underdog, we gon' tear it up. Coming for your heads, better all duck. Hit the black top like a Mack truck. I've been on this road, this my home. Full throttle, bad to the bone. Hold up now.
Times. Bottom left dark. A red Zerg.
Yeah, so, you know, I don't know.
I wonder how many Lings Dark is going to make. But this just went from a game where it felt like stats all for Adepts. He should be able to get that up quite safely, but it's going to be a tough path forward, I think. Templar Archives getting thrown down, +1 ground weapons and charge being researched now for stats, so no blink play coming through early. And I think this kind of does well against the style that Dark is going for here with mass +1 Lings. Dark would like for stats to play the Blink Stalker game in this situation. That's not the way it's going.
So, I mean, for now, the game slows down, right? Stats finally gets to kind of have that economic wind-up. You know, he's getting his third base. This is an extremely late third base for the PVZ, by the way, off Stargate opening. But man, I mean, Dark has just steadily stayed ahead here with his drone count. He's continuing to expand and grow on the map. He'll probably be able to put some pressure on stats again here coming up.
Yeah, I wonder how many drones he's going to build in total. By the way, these Adepts are already getting fully surrounded. Finally, the Oracle's coming in to save the day. 2 more gateways, and Storm started here for stats. Worker count still relatively even. Stats has been doing a very good job of just focusing credit boost on those next side to try and gain some ground back on the Zerg. But with Dark powering up now with +1 melee attack, with a Baneling's Nest underway, with Roaches in production, I'm wondering how many drones he's going to go up to. Is he going to sit on 70? Is he going to work his way up to 80 or potentially 85 from here? Or is he just going to really start to pump the gas on unit production? Because there might be a window where, with a bulky army of Roaches attacking in, he can go for the kill. But we already have an infestation net going down. 4th and 5th base being taken now by Dark. He might just go into the late game.
So, you know, we got that Storm about to finish. I think it's a second Forge is going to finish up here as well. The 4th base is being taken. Things have really quieted down. You know, Dark continuing to try to press his advantage, and Stats desperately trying to catch up here. You can see Stats is pretty prepared for an attack. He's got like stasis wards laid out. He's very aware that, like, you know, a big powering attack could be coming. Although it looks like Dark is just going to continue to get further and further ahead here. He's just going to macro up as much as he can. He's getting 11 Swarm Hosts.
Swarm Hosts are the choice here.
I was not even thinking about those.
No, that was not what I thought at all. I thought that Infestation Pit was for a Hive. Instead, we have Swarm Hosts coming out. Oh, this is crazy from Dark.
Well, you know, he's kind of moved up just outside of the main. He's pushed creep up there.
17 Swarm Hosts.
I think he wants to just, like, chew away at the main with Swarm Hosts over and over again, and then probably hit the right side of the map.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, this 10 o'clock position is so good just to siege the main of the natural expansion from, and usually the answer here from Protoss is just to have a ton of Blink Stalkers, have Oracles, be able to meet the Swarm Host on the map, but with these minerals not mined out, with those rocks still up, Dark has a lot of room to play here and get damage done. 17 Swarm House now on the map, and they can just take down this Templar Archive to start things off here, Tasteless.
Yeah, and I mean, look at this. You're just going to be able to take out the Nexus, take out the Templar Archives. You know, there's not a lot of infrastructure in the main. This is kind of one of the funny things. I didn't appreciate how barren and empty it was until we actually got a shot of it. But
had a flawless early game, and then base, because it is a build that Dark busts out, it feels like, in almost every best of X series against Protoss players, especially against the Stargate play. And Stats is one of these guys that it feels like almost every single game is going to try and go into Stargate play relatively greedily with a 3rd base, with a fast 4th base, and just do the bare minimum that he has to do to defend and play for that ultra late game. And that's the kind of play style that is really hard to defend against these kind of timing attacks that Zerg can throw your way. So we'll see if Dark is kind of still feeling that aggression that he had in series number 1 against Stats tonight. Although it didn't work very well in that first series, he might go back into it here in game number 2.
So, for now, we've got the Stargate tech coming up here for stats. Last time he did go for, well, we've seen previously him go for a Void Ray, but also just go for Oracles right out of the bat. I think it's hard to call out what exactly he wants to do here. Probe, once again, this is like a funny thing. Just going undetected.
Yeah, it depowers the Xel'Naga towers, so the Lings actually don't see it. They just know that something's in the fog, but same as the Reaper, they're just like, okay, something's somewhere.
Yeah, something's there, whatever.
That is really funny. I'm going to have to steal that. That's a spot that I haven't really been using on Alcyon.
Yeah.
Very cute. I like it. Stargate now done for stats. We'll see if it's a Void Ray or Oracle. Macro is looking more like a Void Ray given the mineral and the gas flow, but it will in fact be that Oracle. These Lings should be able to make their way into the natural expansion, get a scout out.
And so, we got to see, you know, things continue to develop here. It is stats kind of, he's going to be able to get his third base up pretty quickly here with that Oracle and the Adepts there to cover that. Some more Lings are coming across the map now.
Yeah, look at these 11 Lings coming out here for Dark.
Yeah, but Dark mostly droning up behind this.
He wants to try and get the wraparound here on these Adepts, but with the Oracle to protect, there isn't too much you can get done. Oh, that's actually a big win there for Dark. Trading 1 Ling for 25 energy on an Oracle. That feels really good. He sees the timing too, so he just knows to throw down the Sport Crawlers right at this moment. 25 energy on an Oracle. That feels really good. He sees the timing too, so he just knows. It's gonna be another quiet mid game to start things out.
Yeah, it's a very, very slow start. Now, let's not forget that Dark did try that Nidus stuff. I don't know if he's going to do it again.
He is going for the lair, so it is a possibility.
Yeah. The layer tech has started here.
1 gas layer. Taste this.
Yeah, 1 gas layer. That's pretty low. We're going to have to wait and see. Do we have another gas that's going to be thrown down here? The Oracles are coming through here, and actually they're able to check the gases as well.
Yeah.
They haven't, okay, so the second gas has started in the main, by the way.
More drones in production. Forge and Twilight going down now for stats. So stats back at home building up very normally. Probably going to move out with these Adepts now that he has 7 on the board. Usually you just have 1 clogging the ramp and then 6 move out.
That third Nexus is about to finish.
Yeah, this is
look at this.
If you're a PBZ player struggling in the matchup, this kind of opening is...
It's like a Hodor Zergling over there.
Yeah.
Just stopping all the Adepts from moving through for at least a little bit.
This is a very good way to exert pressure. And once again, it
there
is
it
going to be the
I
Nidus.
can't believe it. I actually was so confident he wouldn't try this again.
I think it makes sense. We'll see if it works this time. Keep in mind, game 1 and game 2 of their first series, Dark went for the same opening. Both times he was able to take down the third base. I believe in game 1 he got more probe kills. In game 2 he barely got any, but in both those games, Stats was able to just forfeit that position and then recover quite well at a spot that is honestly kind of tricky to recover from.
Yeah.
It really throws you for a loop. If you are not experienced with that kind of situation, it can be hard to play from, but now that Nidus is done, these Lings are going to work their way up to the front. Nidus going undetected.
Yeah, he might not see this at all because he just cleared that Overlord.
3 more Queens in production.
You're playing so well that it actually is going to backfire.
And seeing these Lings, I think you should know. Your Spider senses should be tingling. That shield battery should finish. Oh, look at that. Nidus Network actually
that's a nasty one.
in the natural expansion. I think it's even potentially blocking the wall in there. I don't think you can wall in behind that gateway. That is so smart there by Dark. And now the Lings flooding through. Oracles are charging up. Nidus Canal still barely surviving right now. Oracles instead choosing to favor.
I thought it died.
Focusing down the Lings. Adepts warping it into the main base. These Adepts and Stalkers should be able to make work of these Queens right here, who are probably going to retreat into the Nidus, you would think. Instead, no, it's going to be more Lings coming in the main base. 20 probes going down right now for stats. And actually, these reinforcements might just be enough. The Oracle's slowly chipping away at the Lings, but there's so much damage being levied down on stats. Dark has closed the gap, 43 workers to 39, but stats, does he have enough army to actually stabilize here? This is the kind of situation where I feel like as stats, you really don't want to lose the third base anymore. You kind of just want to hold on to everything, but that Nexus is going to go down.
Oh my God, there's spine crawlers here. The main has lost almost all of its probes. The Niduses keep getting killed off, but there's still ways for Zergs to get in here.
And this is the kind of situation where I feel like Dark has gotten a lot of damage done. Even Spine Crawler's morphed in here in the front line. Look at these Lings getting us around. There's no shield battery to cover. Blink is done, so some of these Stalkers should be able to blink back. But
oh my god.
this is such a tough position now for Stats, and this is kind of what Dark was looking for in Game 1 and Game 2 of their first series. This is the kind of damage where you get into the main base, you breach the natural wall, you kill a ton of probes. Stats at 39 workers right now, and you get the Nexus at the third. Huge win for Dark.
It's like a sledgehammer cracking that position open. So much damage now. And of course, Dark really suffering no losses, I guess, other than a lot of his queens were picked off. Stats doesn't seem to have a whole lot of choices other than to try to get a third base up again. And so these Lings are going to come in here for this surround, and I think this is going to be a forced cancel. Yeah, he cannot save that, even though the Lings would eventually lose that fight to the Stalkers. So another big victory here.
And a very fast Hive tech from Dark, Tasteless.
Yeah.
8-minute Hive after a Nidus timing is kind of absurd here.
Yeah, so many more Lings being made here. It looks like the Stalkers are going to try to come across the map, but you know, you can only blink away so many times. The Ling's going to full-on surround. It's going to be huge.
I wonder if Dark is going to go for something absolutely crazy like +2 Lings with Adrenal. Oh no, Stats with a little bit of mystery right now on how many Lings are on the map. These Oracles also very low on energy, aren't going to be able to get too much done. The Stalkers are falling in the middle. Stats, he's really feeling the pressure right now, Tasteless. Only on 44 probes, losing his army in the center of the map.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be that, man. I mean, he already lost all of his workers at his third base twice. Now he's lost the core army that he had. And an overextension, GG. Dark is going on to the round of 8.
Stats, after making it to the round of 4 in the previous season of ESL, is dispatched in one of the hardest groups in the round of 16, and he made a good show of it. I still think Stats is back, but Dark is just a tough opponent to crack, man. I mean, one mistake in game number 1, and then suddenly you're on match point, and one cool timing attack like that finally breaks it. And I mean, think about this whole series that they played today. Series 1, Series 2. Stats defended that push 2 out of 3 times. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But still,
you can only blink away so many times. The Ling's going to full-on surround. It's going to be huge.
I wonder if Dark is going to go for something absolutely crazy like +2 Lings with Adrenal. Oh no, Stats with a little bit of mystery right now on how many Lings are on the map. These Oracles also very low on energy, aren't going to be able to get too much done. The Stalkers are falling in the middle. Stats, he's really feeling the pressure right now, Tasteless. Only on 44 probes, losing his army in the center of the map.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be that, man. I mean, he already lost all of his workers at his third base twice. Now he's lost the core army that he had. And an overextension, GG. Dark is going on to the round of 8.
Stats, after making it to the round of 4 in the previous season of ESL, is dispatched in one of the hardest groups in the round of 16, and he made a good show of it. I still think Stats is back, but Dark is just a tough opponent to crack, man. I mean, one mistake in game number 1, and then suddenly you're on match point, and one cool timing attack like that finally breaks it. And I mean, think about this whole series that they played today. Series 1, Series 2. Stats defended that push 2 out of 3 times. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But still, against an opponent like Dark, you basically gotta be perfect. This guy is one of the best Zergs in the world for a damn good reason. And for Stats, my heart breaks a little bit for him getting eliminated after such a heroic run in the previous season, but I don't think anyone is going to be unhappy with Pure and Dark advancing into the round of 8. Let's hear what... Oh, never mind. Highlights!
So fast.
That's right. And I really do feel like the Lings getting into the main base here was just basically disaster here for Stats, because his early game was so clutch. And I'm just still so confused how the pylon's going to get thrown down to the natural with any haste. I feel like Stats was maybe a little bit underestimating how much pressure was going to be thrown his way, and then Dark coming back into the Nidus. I want to say this Nidus, I'm not sure, but it almost felt like it was blocking what the wall-in should be behind this. Stats maybe could have sneaked in one pylon between that gateway and the pylon that's powering all the structures in the front, but the Nidus...
Oh my god. Okay, I'll get him. I'll get him. Where is he? Where is he? Oh, what?
This is why I stopped shopping on Amazon, and you should too. Don't spend another dime on Amazon.
Oh, I'm stupid. I despise regrets.
Did you say he's a human?
Be a pet. It's fun and easy. Spread the seeds and watch it grow.
Median home prices have fallen to $120,000.
Recruitment for the CIA has reached an all-time high.
New episode tonight at 9.
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Soon, the truth will be revealed.
Blessed are the peacemakers.
Whether you call her Abuela, Nana, Yaya,
you want Valorant skins. Just how awesome would it be to have your dream skin collection where you can stop worrying about getting dropped skins?
Let's rank every Valorant agent from worst to best in ranked for episode 8 in my opinion. In dead last place, I'm going to be putting Harbor. Overall, his kit can be viable in pro play, but for the most part in ranked, all of his utility is fairly underwhelming. I believe the Viper wall is a better wall as it gives decay damage and his ultimate can be easily countered. In 22nd place, we have Neon. Honestly, this is a hot take since you see creators doing crazy Neon movement like Temet, which is extremely flashy, but the overall impact Neon can get compared to the other duelists in the game makes me put her down here. The stuns in Valorant don't work very well honestly, and her ultimate was nerfed for some reason, and her wall is basically a worse version of the Phoenix wall in my opinion. In 21st place, we have ISO. Honestly, ISO is just not that good of a duelist. Since they have no movement abilities, the wall is very thin so enemies can peek around it, and the double tap is fairly useless because in most cases you'll be traded before you can even shoot the orb, so his undercut is the only thing viable in his kit, which is still not that good overall in my opinion. And if you're one of the many people who struggle with high ping and packet loss, you need to check out Gear Up Booster. Gear Up Booster is a free software that stabilizes your internet and boosts your game with one easy click, making your ping stay at the lowest possible ping and no more random ping spikes. Oftentimes, your ISP and the game server don't have a direct path to each other, so Gear Up Booster can help provide the best routing to the server for you. And it's safe to use with no bans or timeouts on your account. And if you're a console player, you can also use the game router Hyper AV, which ensures faster game downloads, improved gaming performance, and it's multi-platform compatible. And with Gear Up Booster on, I currently have 10 ping to Virginia servers, and other creators like Joel also use Gear Up Booster, so you know it's legit. But check out the link in the pinned comment or description, and tell me in the comment section if you have a lower ping than me. In 20th place, we got Breach, who's a fairly decent agent in pro play, but in ranked it's very hard to get your team to actually push or peek with your breach flashes or your breach stun or even the ultimate, which makes it so much harder to get value out of this agent when your no-comm insta-lock jet is lurking mid instead of dashing on a blind and stunned enemy. In 19th place, we got Sage, and I mean honestly the only person I really see play Sage anymore is Grim, and that's because he's always got a creative wall to make an off angle for himself, but the Sage heal is a worse heal than the Sky heal, and the wall is often instantly broken, so playing another agent like Cypher or Killjoy is just so much more viable to anchor sites or map control and give you and your team information. In 18th place, we got Astra. She's got a similar problem to Breach in my opinion. Astra can be very strong provided that your team is actually communicating and playing off the stuns and sucks correctly. But if you have teammates that lurk mid on Reyna instead of entering the site on the suck and stunned enemies, it's pretty hard to get value out of almost half of the kit, making your life much harder. In 17th place, we got Phoenix. Honestly, Phoenix has, in my opinion, some of the more predictable flashes in the game, and it doesn't allow for much creativity, as well as the fact that his wall and molly don't allow for much self-heal compared to a Reyna Devourer. The ultimate is probably the best part of the kit, since for only 6 orbs you can basically have a second life, but I still think that the lack of movement ability for entry potential makes Jet and Raze a better option for attack. In 16th place, we got Deadlock. For a while, Deadlock was probably the worst agent in the game, but after the buff to the wall, she's able to block off multiple choke points with a single wall, and the sonic sensors can be used situationally better now. But since they can literally be shift walked past on flank, it's pretty hard to justify a Deadlock pick over Killjoy or Cypher, which have trips and turrets to hold down your flank properly. In 15th place, we got KO. I honestly personally love KO, but after they nerfed the flash, it's now harder to make solo plays with your flashes, and the 0 point doesn't give you precise info on where the enemy team is playing, unlike a Sova Dart or Fade Haunt or even a Skydog, making them worse for information gathering, and in my opinion, you need to play Double Initiator for them to be truly effective, which is very rare in ranked. In 14th place, we got Fade, which again, due to the Fade nerf to the Prowler, I think the Skydog provides much more value at the moment, and with the current map pool in ranked, Sky is typically always going to be more viable than Fade on maps like Split or Bind because of the flash, as well as on maps like Ascent, Sova is more viable than Fade. In 13th place, we got Yoru, who I believe is actually one of the better duelists in the game currently, but they also have a huge skill ceiling, so it takes a ton of game sense and great utility usage to play this agent at a high level. Yoru has also been in the game for a while, so not as many people fall for the fake clones, which is what makes Ziptie's clips so much better. In 12th place, we got Brimstone. He's the thickest agent in Valorant, and he's also got the longest lasting smokes in the game, at 19.25 seconds compared to Astra Smoke of 14.25 seconds. which allows for you to delay pushes for around 4 seconds longer on average, as well as the ultimate is great for post plants and can be combined with a molly lineup to basically single-handedly win your team a post plant situation. In 11th place, we got Gecko, who after their buffs I think is a much more viable agent now, especially on maps like Lotus or Sunset. The wingman for plants and diffuse makes Gecko a really solid pick. Dizzy is also fairly good for information and can be used multiple times in the same round, and the ultimate is probably the best part of Gecko's kit in my opinion. It basically guarantees your team gets a free sight, and I would actually go as far to say as it's better for a sight take than Killjoy's ultimate currently is. In 10th place, we got Chamber. After the Chamber buffs, he's now in a place where he's actually viable now, in my opinion, to play it as more of an aggressive secondary duelist. Since his trip isn't very good for sight holds, you have to play Chamber in a fairly aggressive manner and fight for map control with your teleport. This allows for you to entry and take early fights on defense and teleport away after getting a pick. He's also basically got a pocket guardian at all times with an insanely fast pullout time, and his ultimate is Little Operator, so for eco rounds, this is Chamber's time to shine. In 9th place, we got Sky. Sky is still a very solid pick on most maps, even after the nerf. She's currently meta on maps like Split and Bind, but the nerf to her flash not regenerating makes her get a little less value when it comes to flashing for information, and I think the nerf to her dog makes it a bit harder to get information out of it now, since you cannot turn the camera while jumping in it. In 8th place, we got Killjoy, who's currently the second best Sentinel in my opinion. They have a great delay potential with their Molly and Alarm Bot setups, and they can also use their turret and Alarm Bot to hold down multiple areas of map control for their team on the map. They also have one of the best ultimates in the game for retakes and sight takes in my opinion, but after their nerf to the turret and multiple nerfs throughout the years and the buffs to Cypher recently, I think they have fallen from the best Sentinel spot to second best. In 7th place, we got Viper, who's basically a must pick on Breeze and Icebox. If you're not picking her on these maps, you are absolutely trolling. Her wall is a must to smoke off large areas like B side on Icebox or A side on Breeze to allow for you and your team to entry and scale up correctly. Her molly lineups are also still solid when comboed with a smoke orb, and her ultimate is also insane for holding down an entire bomb site in post plant or just on defense to hold down a bomb site, which makes her so valuable, and you'll often see her in pro play as a second controller to deny information and lurk, making her possibly one of the best controllers currently. In 6th place, we got Cypher because they are basically currently the perfect Sentinel. You can use one-way cages to get easy frags on defense. You can also make creative tripwire setups to catch enemies off guard, and they also currently have the best flank watching utility. Cypher is also the best sight holding agent since the trips will regen if not broken, so you can no longer counter a Cypher setup just by running through it with a Skydog, which makes them especially hard to play against and almost forces players to pick Sova or Raze, so they're able to shock dart or blast pack the trips. In 5th place, we got Omen. Omen allows you to play a mixed playstyle of controller with the option to either play aggressive and go for teleport plays with the flash like Flex Ninja, or play passive and lurk like Marv. The flash also has the ability to basically stop an entire push on defense and blind an entire lane to help your team entry on attack. Or you could use the flash for yourself to flash teleport on an enemy, which is also viable, and the ultimate can be used to grab the spike off the floor, which makes him extra viable in case you accidentally lose the spike to the other team. In 4th place, we got Sova, since again the shock darts to counter Cypher automatically give him a ton of value. The drone and dart also provide a ton of value, and I would almost say is a must pick on maps like Ascent and Icebox, and a fairly viable pick on most maps other than Split and for almost every game at this point, which makes it so much easier for your team to be able to entry. Raze's blast packs are also really good for movement when entering the site, allowing you to scale fast, and the nade is really strong for stopping an entire push on defense. The Boombot also gives you info on attack or defense, which makes Raze almost a duelist and initiator hybrid. And the ultimate is another bonus where you have a rocket for an almost guaranteed frag as long as you don't resolve. In 2nd place, we got Reyna, since in all honesty, having the ability to self-heal twice around makes you have the ability to take multiple solo fights, and you also have a dismiss to get out of a bad position and reposition to your team. The ultimate is fairly mid since it's basically just your normal abilities with a Brimstone Stim Beacon, and the flash isn't that good overall, but if you are a very good mechanical player, picking Reyna allows for you to solo carry games much easier, and this is why you often see Smurfs locking Reyna so that they can solo carry the game. In first place, we got Jet. The Jet Dash alone is, in my opinion, the best ability in the game. It's like a Reyna Dismiss, but they don't actually have to get a frag to use it. So if you miss, you can just reposition with your dash. This makes opping on Jet extremely strong, but unlike Chamber, with Jet you can also Jet Dash on attack to entry into your own smoke, which makes you harder to hit and also makes Jet's entry potential better than Raze's because of that. Jet's ultimate is also really strong for eco rounds, which allows you to possibly single-handedly win a round that you'd have no chance winning otherwise. The Jet smokes can also be used to create one-ways for yourself almost anywhere, allowing you to get easy frags, and the updraft allows for you to updraft above tripwires or killjoy molly setups, making Jet an overall perfect duelist and the most well-rounded. Here's a look at the completed tier list. Let me know if you agree, and if you enjoyed the video, drop